think, a place called Prince Rupert. And from there, well, we hitchhiked. The best thing that happened when we hit British Columbia, you know, like how Zeke was talking about how he got to Canada and everybody gave him a ride right away. Well, we got to British Columbia hitchhiking, and it was dark, and someone came by and said, hey, you know, you seem like nice people. We'd like to put you up for the night. I think that's what happened. And we said, okay, and they took us into their house. They fed us. They gave us showers and baths and let us sleep in a bed. It was the most amazing thing. It was in Hope, British Columbia, which is in a beautiful valley, which I think is called the Okanagan Valley. And it was, you know, June or July when I was there, so there were trees, beautiful trees in the valley, and it was just a lovely place to be. And this wonderful family just took us in for the night. They just knew that we weren't going to hurt them or anything. And the next day we hitchhiked all the way up to Prince Rupert, I think it is. There's Prince Rupert and there's Prince George, and I never can remember. Maybe someone knows, but...
Well, one is on the mainland and one's on Vancouver Island.
All right, so we got a right. Okay, we got a ride to Prince George, and then we hitchhiked with some kind of Nazi, I think it was, to Prince Rupert, and there was a little...
Nazi?
I think so, and I was just terrified. He drove like a madman. He wasn't very nice. But anyway, we got to Prince Rupert and spent the night. And in the morning we got on a ferry, and we took all our stuff, and we took our ferry to Ketchikan, Alaska, which I'd never heard of, right on the Inland Passage. And I went to the laundromat there, and when I was there, some Indian women said to me, what are you doing here? Who are you? And I said, well, we're just hitchhiking, looking for jobs at the cannery. They said, oh, yeah, well, we know all about that. We were just giggling and talking, and I said, well, I have no place to live. The guy I came hitchhiking with is not being very nice to me, and it's not that he was mean, but we just didn't get along. I didn't realize how... I thought I was a really nice person, and I got along with everybody. We argued about the silliest things, like where we should hitchhike from, this side of the road or that side of the road, or... Oh my God. So by the time we got to Ketchikan, I never saw him again. I said goodbye, and I went to the laundromat, and from then on I had this wonderful life where these Indian women put me up. They said, oh, we have a friend who's single, and she works at night as a dispatcher for the police. And maybe if you stay with her, you can babysit her kids at night, and then you can stay for free at her house. Sure enough, she had a little attic room. I had my Eddie Bauer sleeping bag, and maybe a little pillow. And she said, sure, come stay with me. So I stayed with her, and every morning I got up and fed the kids breakfast, and then I went to work at the fish cannery. And then I came back about 5, and then she would go off to work, and I would hang out and then be there at night for the kids. So I lived there for free most of the time. In those days, no one had cell phones. It wasn't like you could just call from the cannery and say, hey, how's it going? I'm going to be late tonight. So I had to work. I worked from 8 in the morning till 5, and that was like $2 an hour. And then if you worked from 5 to 8, up to 12 hours, then it's $2.50 an hour. And then after 8, if you work till midnight, you get $3 an hour. Oh my God, I was so happy. So I would go there in the morning. I had money. I could pay for breakfast, or I could eat breakfast for the kids. Then off I went. And I worked all day in the cannery. And at noon, you get an hour break. Oh, and what else they do is at 10, they offer you tea or coffee and cookies. There was these little cookies that had icing on it. And, you know, I really liked them. So I would scarf up all the cookies and tea I could have. Then it would be noon. I would sleep. There was a little warehouse with a bunch of coils of rope, and I would lie down and sleep there. Then I'd get up and go back to work at 1. And then at 5, I'd either leave or I'd work overtime. And at first, I was working with the cans. The cans would come out. Someone had already put fish into it. All I had to do was seal the can. So all day long, you're doing the same thing. So after a while, that one part of your body is so sore. You can't believe it. Then they moved me to some other place where I actually cranked on something I can't remember. And then they have you sort. So you have the salmon is all cut up, and think it's cured, and then you have to take the pieces that don't look good and get rid of them and keep the ones that are good. So you have this repetitive motion. But anyway, I felt really lucky. The thing is, like Zeke said, it rains every day in Alaska. Every single day it rained. The one day after 3 weeks of working there, it was sunny. I said, I'm not working in the fish cannery today. I am going to go, kind of like what Ron did. I'm going to go and take a day off. So I took a day off and had a wonderful day exploring the town and visiting friends. And then I came back to work and they said, oh, you still work here? I said, well, I only took one day off. They said, we need you. You can't just take a day off just because it's sunny. I'm like, oh, sorry about that. So they hired me back. But like with Ron, they put me back at the base salary instead of I had earned, I don't know, an extra 15 cents an hour or something by then. They put me back to that. So I worked for a little while longer. And there was a man who worked there who was older, and he really liked me. He was married. And he took an interest in me and, wanted to know, what are you doing in Alaska all by yourself, blah, 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 blah. So he took me out to dinner. And then after that, he was just my friend. It was nice. And then I made some other friends more my age. And then, I don't know what happened. I guess I just got kind of tired of working there. And I think it was the end of the salmon run or something. I just got my paycheck and I left.